Well, hello, Man Cavers. You join me at Man Cave HQ. There's our Bonza camper van. So I'm doing a New Year's special here, just a short video. We're going to look at the projects I know about that we're going to be doing in 2024. It is the day before Christmas Eve, and already I have an encounter. Meant to be going to Suffolk tomorrow to have New Year's celebrations with Rachel's sister, and look, the camper van is well and truly stuck, even with her chunky mud tyres. She has dropped down there to the axle and she's nearly hitting the ground because she's sunk at the front. I'm afraid the wet field is just too much. She won't shift. Anyhow, we're going to have a look at 2024 projects that I aim to get done. We know the Bonza. You've seen the Bonza. Do you remember the Barford Atom we made, which is up there, which is going in this auto truck? And I actually have the history of this truck now, because one of my viewers recognised it, and it turns out, I can't remember off the top of my head what he said, but an engineering company in Terrington St Clement, which is about 12 miles from here, made this in the early 70s. They had an old Barford Atom, and they got an engineering company to scratch build this thing so they could use it on a nursery to get plants and trees around. So it's a one-off. I will put the name of the engineering company the guy did send it to, and I can't remember. I'll drop it in here somewhere. So yes, we do now know the history of this. It was made in the early 70s, and they made this and fabricated it so this Barford Atom sat in that ring to make an auto truck. This Barford Atom, as you can see, is had it. So the one we made, let me show you. The one we made this year, I keep saying the other month, could be the other month, this year, however you want to look at it. So let's come up here. And if we look, there we go. The one with a bag on it, look, see? This is the one we rebuilt the little Mark 12 on. So this Atom is going in that turntable. See what I mean? I've got some brand new wheels and tyres to go on the back of that thing. So really, we just got to sand down and paint that thing, put the new wheels on the back, weld the Atom in, because this Atom will work, and that'll be that auto truck virtually ready, apart from the woodwork. So what else are we got to be doing this year? We have some Kelter under here. Oh, remember that Jap I couldn't get to go? Oh, I don't know. We'll get to it at some point. There's several things under here. There is, because you guys seem to like your horizontal twins. Look what we got under there, look. There's a pair, look. Coventry Climax. Are they Coventry Climax? I think they're Coventry Climax. Twin cylinder petrels. But I don't think either of them are savable. Yes, this one's got a mag on it, but the tin work's missing. This one's got a carb. This one's complete apart from the tin. That one's basically a bare block. They all come in a job deal. Whether I'll actually ever do anything with them, I doubt it. But they are there. Ooh, I didn't realise I had some Agri tyres under there. Right, let's go have another look at what we're going to be doing. Ah, this trailer. Me and Dad bought this trailer 2 years ago. That's a good one. That's a four-wheeler. Can't really see it because she's been sitting in the healing weeds for a number of years, a couple of years. Yeah, she's a four-wheel. I for Williams. If I can get the bloody weeds out of the way. There we go. There we go. So we have a four-wheel. I think this is... What's this trailer? I think that's 16 by 7. I'm sure she's 16 or 17 foot long. She's a big one. So we're going to convert this to a beaver tail, because we've got this big ladder chassis on the back here. So I'm going to cut this support out here cut through here a bit, bend this back down till that meet that bottom bar to give us a beaver tail, and then we can put rotavators, cars, anything up there. It'll just lower that height, because that height is, I mean, well, let's go up to my knee, look. Yeah, we're just below my knee, so she's fairly high at the back. You'd need some really long ramps to get a car up on there. So we're going to put a little beaver on the back to take some of that out. So yes, that's got to be done. We've got to beaver that, weld some of the supports, board it. What else have we got? Let's have a dig in the shed. Right. Well, there's lots of bits and pieces in here. There's my Lister B. You've all seen that running. If we come round the back here, there's my Ruston PB. What do you reckon of this, guys? Dad has had this thing for years, and it's in really nice condition. It's an old 1978 lawn flight ride-on mower with a 12-horse Briggs in. That's covered up because that is actually in really nice condition. So he bought that years ago, one owner, off an old boy who'd had it from new and sadly passed away, and he always looked after it, the old boy. Had it serviced, kept it inside. So that thing is actually really nice. I mean, look at that for a seat for a 40-year-old ride-on mower. Is that something we could do? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Let's have another dig round. What else have we got? I know we've got loads of stuff. Let's come in this shed. What's under here? I think that's a Truss-Love water pump. I can't be sure. Oh yeah, that's my Truss-Love water pump under there. Right, what have we got in here? The Big Jap Model 6. Oh, I've got a pair of galvanised 10-inch mud guards in it. My little Jap Model 0, you've all seen that. What about this thing? We've got to finish this. I know the videos on this thing will do extremely well because you guys do love it. This is my big SR1. That is SR1 in it. That is an SR1 Starter-matic. Now, if you remember, we've had that hand cranking and running sweet as a nut. Do you remember? If you haven't seen the videos, I did have a video of doing the head gasket on this. Because there ain't a head gasket on these as such. There's shims on the bottom of the cylinder. And she was puffing smoke out of the bottom of the cylinder. So we did have the head barrel and piston out of this a couple of years ago. And put new shim gaskets in. Then we coupled back up the generator. And if you want to see some sketchy damn lifting, I suggest you go back and look at the video of this Lister Starter-matic of how we had to get that generator, which weighs best part of 200 kilos, onto that engine. We basically had two bloody step ladders with a pole across the top and a block and tackle, and you've never seen anything so sketchy in your life. And then we bolted that to the engine, then lifted the whole lot up, which means you're up to about 350 kilos, and we chucked that on this little trailer. So we've got to just wire that up and put another axle on the front of this trailer, because these wheels are just too far back. We've got too much nose weight, way too heavy at the front. So we've got that to do. Alright, these little things unfortunately suffered some flood damage when the shed flooded the other week. We have C101 wheelie horse. And there is a cutter deck for this lion somewhere. Where the cutter deck is, I do not know, but there is a cutter deck for this somewhere. That's something we can be doing. That's not my favourite wheel horse. My favourite wheel horse is this big Raider 12 here. Now, this is a bit sentimental to me, simply because I bought this. This was one of the very first things I put on YouTube. I think my Lister CS was my first ever video. But right back in 2014, when I first set this channel up, I believe this was probably the second or third video I ever posted. I'd bought this thing. It had been sitting 15 years down a repair shop. And yeah, I bought it, got it going. But she ain't been run for 2 or 3 years now. She's just been sitting in here. She got a leaky carb, so she need a bit of work. That's something we'll be doing in 2024. So we got that. We got this SR1. We got this big Jap. You can see, aha, talking of big Japs. Do you remember that magneto I done the other week? I did a 2-cylinder magneto. That's for this bad boy. Now this is another Jap. But she's a big one. She's a Model 55 twin-cylinder air-cooled. And if you're wondering, yes, I do have the tin work and the tin work and the petrol tank for it. There's the tin work. There is a petrol tank on there, but it's the wrong one, what someone had fitted. But under here, there it is. I do have the original tank. So that's an original 55 tank. There's the 55 tin work under here. There's the 55 engine. All turns over. And I bought this engine. I can tell you where I got this from. I used to deliver car parts for a living in the 90s for a little company called Exhaust Unlimited. And I used to go to a garage in Hunstanton 3 times a day to deliver parts. And one of the mechanics there said, "Oh, I got an old engine." And what is it? Well, some old 2-cylinder Jap thing. They ain't got a magneto on it though. You never for £20. So, yeah, that day I was straight down to his house at Sculthorpe and picked it up. I'll always remember the old boy. His name was John and he had one eye. He was the MOT tester. Lovely old boy. I like John. But there you go. There is our twin-cylinder Jap we can be doing. Under here, another one you haven't never seen before. There's a Peta AC1 diesel throttle control. So she's not fixed speed. She is throttle controlled. That's another thing. Been sitting under there donkey's years. Never done it. Tell you about John while we're walking around the engines. Old boy John, the MOT boy, he was great. He used to do a really good MOT. Because I knew him, he used to let me walk around the car on the ramp with him. Let me turn this flash off. He used to let me walk around the ramp at the MOT centre, and if you had something a bit sketchy on your motor, like you had a little bit of playing a ball joint or something, and that was on your driver's front wheel, well, he was a good old boy, because he'd check. He'd always start on the passenger side front and work his way around the motor. And that's great, because as he got halfway up the driver's sill, approaching that front wheel, I used to ask him about dutting kit cars or something, because he was a big kit car fanatic. Well, that was it. Down went the MOT testing hammer, and out come the magazines for 5 minutes. And then you'd say, "Oh, that's interesting, John. We better finish this MOT, haven't we? Where'd I get to?" And I said, "Well, you've done all the wheels and there." He totally forgot about that front. That was brilliant. Let's have a look in this shed. Anyhow, I'm rambling here, aren't I? Right, flashes back on. What have we got here? Shite galore. Right, there is. Ooh, I bought this. Well, I didn't buy it. I got this, and I got that out of a skip at work. I have a use for them. That's another project. What have we got here? What's this thing here? Hey, you know what that is, don't you? That's a headstock. What a church bell hanging. Didn't we have some church bell rope about here somewhere? Big old bell rope with a Sally on it. I don't know. Oh, there's a head gasket for something to hang up there. That's been there since the 80s. Right. Oh, I didn't realise I had a spark plug rack. That must go in the new shed. Right, let's have a look. What we got? Right, you've seen these two. They've been done. What have we got here? Anything through here? There's glass. You know, I'm sure we had some bell ropes sit about here. Probably not. Oh, there's a driven front wheel off an old 60s mobility scooter. Oh, now look at this for a damn drill press. Now, she's a good one. There's some bench ends. Bench ends, I don't know what they are. Look at that for a bloody drill press. She must be 4 foot high. Whoo! And it turned, look. She's heavy, she'd go nice driven on an engine, you know. I don't quite know how you'd wire it up to drive it on an engine, but I don't know. Anyhow, we're not coming in here for this. We're coming through here. Oh, we've got a box of bolts. Probably 1/4 hundredweight. That's a 70s Honda. There's a little Jap. Is that a 3F in there with a reduction box? Probably. Another 70s Honda. Another Jap. These have all been here for 40 years, because I bought these when I was at damn school. I bought these when I was 10-year-old, so they've been in here 40 more years. Some tubs of Notter's oil, all very handy. Granny's old bike, old high step. Oh, we got an old trade bike here, look. An old trade bike with a little wheel at the front. These are all things we just have about here that we could be doing. What's this? Is there anything in this? Ooh, R.K. Jones tar varnish. She feel like she's got something in it. Some Duralite 2K acrylic enamel. I don't know what colour it is, but there's half a tin. Ah, Porsche 944. That was when I had my Porsche. Look, I got a brand new set of pads and discs here, look. I see them the other year and thought, what are they for? That was either a Porsche 944 or a Nissan Silvia. I just noticed on the box, look. 924, 928 and 944 brake pads. Well, I had a 944 3 litre turbo, so we have discs and pads for that. What's this? Ain't got a clue. What's in the box? Can you see? I can't see. Well, that look like old spanners. Yeah. Some wall tiles. Oh, if anyone's got a Rover 827, we have a good rear light for it here. Now, this come off an R-Reg. So I used to have an R-Reg, 827 Sterling, no, 825 Sterling Rover. I did have an early 827 as well on an E-Reg. And a D-Reg. I had 2 827s and 1 825. And I know that's the rear light out of an 825. And for an 827, I also have an alternator and a starter motor through the other shed. Well, I wondered where all my electrical crimps had gone. They're in a box here, look. Wow. I went and bought some the other week. Alright, let's come out here. You're getting a history lesson here. Oh, God, we've got some crap around here. We've got a box of hay. For some reason, because we ain't had a rabbit for 10 years. Right, let's have a look. Right, we'll come over here. Turn this flash off again. And we'll have a look under here, under these bags. I know there are some of these things need to be done. Pepsi Max tin. What's under this one? Is this that big? Or is that just that's just a bunch of bags? Right, what's under here? That's what I was looking for. You guys seem to love this thing. Huge! And when I say huge, I mean 4 foot long Enfield twin diesel. Now, I did a video series on this and could not get the damn thing running at all. Turns out, I think the flywheel key has snapped. So when we were cranking it, I never could get it over compression. Because the engine was stopping dead and the flywheel was continue to spin. That's something we might get back to. But I would really, because Jesus, that takes some cranking. If anyone's got an electric starter for this, because there is a ring gear on that flywheel. If you look in there, there's a ring gear on there and provisions for a starter motor. So if anybody's got a 2-volt, probably an inertia starter for an Enfield diesel, hit me up. Because that would save an awful lot of cranking. But if you remember, we had diesel and the injectors, everything was free. Just couldn't turn it quick enough to get over compression. That's something we can be doing. Under here we have that little PB3 or PB1.5 Ruston. So these are all sitting in the healing weeds. What's under here? Ah, my Unan. Here we have another generator. This really beautiful old Onan twin, and she is a beauty. Look at that, runs sweet as a nut. We need to get that on some form of trolley, and just look at that beautiful radiator on that. Absolutely lovely. This little T300 Norman that I got off the scrap man, this is one of my favourite engines. Like I was saying, I got 3 favourite engines. That's one of them. Mrs. Mancay's Crossley is the other one. And the next one is my Ruston PB8, which is on its original trolley. And many people have tried getting that off me over the last few months when I mentioned that I might let it go. Didn't want to, but we needed funds for the move, and I really don't want to let that go, because once that's gone, I'll never get another one, because that is my little baby. Right, what have we got under here? Right, this is, camera will not do this any justice as to how big this thing is. That's a 15-inch van wheel with tyre on. Oh Christ, if I move this sheet, look at that bad boy. This is a 1921. That's a Evans steam tar pump, used in a gasworks to pump tar. And yes, I think it was used up till about the 70s, and then a guy from Akel got it, and he sat it in a field and covered it up with a tarpaulin. That sat there years. Then we had a storm come along, the tarpaulin got ripped off, and then it sat out in the open for 2 years and seized itself, and then I got it. And believe me, that took some lifting. We had to have a Fordson Major with a front loader just to get this on the trailer. This thing is huge. So we've got steam engine up this end. I did start taking it to pieces, but I do have the bits. We have a steam engine up that end, which runs the pump, and I think that's a 4-inch or 5-inch hole in there. Oh, 6-inch, look, that's a 4x6. Reliable Evans, there we go, 4x6, reliable Evans. But we estimate that this pump, because that flywheel's about 4 foot as well, we estimate this pump to be about 1.25 tons. She is a monster, but it's seized up. This is the trailer it's actually going on. It's an old caravan chassis that I converted years ago and put some 4x2s in. All really before I got into this YouTube thing, I did all this sort of off camera. And yeah, we got that. But we need bolting down so that flywheel is actually off the ground. And then I can maybe get a ratchet strap and a hammer on the piston. So I've had the head off, and what happened is an old rat has got in there, had a nest, and he's pissed all in the cylinder and rusted the cylinder. I don't ever want this to pump again. I'm purely going to have it driving. I'm going to have it driving off that Lister CS there under the sheet, my 5 horsepower CS. So this pump is going to come up here, the CS is going on the back, and we'll have a belt from here down to the small pulley on the CS. And that should turn this thing over just for rally purposes. It ain't going to do nothing, it ain't going to pump nothing. I just want it to turn over and look nice, because I like this crank setup where you have an acorn shaped crank in there which goes backwards and forwards, and a crank inside the acorn, which is really, I think that'd look really ornate turning. So yes, that's an Evans 6x4. That's another thing we've got to do. Now then, I don't know whether this sort of stuff interests you guys at all. Under this sheet, I have an engine there, a Briggs & Stratton, that I bet you never knew existed. We'll get to that one day. What else we got under here? Engines, right, there we go. There, under these weeds, under them leaves there, there's an old 1970s 11 horsepower Briggs & Stratton Mar engine out of a ride-on. There's another 1970s Briggs & Stratton. In fact, I've got 4 of them. I've got 4 of the old points ignition 70s Briggs & Strattons under there. And I'm surprised how many people like seeing a Briggs & Stratton brought back to life. Some are pull starts, some have got electric start, some have got both. Right, we will have a look at our Lister CS. You've all seen this before. This is the engine that was on the very first man cave video I ever posted. I'll play that for you one day. If you don't want to sketch back 600 videos, I'll find it and play it for you one day. I think it's basically me saying a Lister CS running at 280 RPM. We need to cover her up a bit more. There you go, girl. Get you covered up, you're getting wet. So yes, there are all our projects. It's now starting to rain. So I'm going to go, and we will see you guys later. Happy New Year to you. Hope you had a good Christmas. Sorry for my waffling on. But these are just some of the projects we have around Man Cave HQ that we can be doing once we get the bigger workshop. That's not including the additional things I would buy along the way. Right, we're going to go. Happy New Year to you guys. Really Happy New Year. See you next year for another video when we'll hopefully do a bit more on this. Get this exhaust finished. I can try and source a silencer of some description. We'll be away. But it's now starting to rain, so I want to get this covered back up. Get that big pump covered back up. And yes, get in the house and have a cup of coffee. I'm cold. Right. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye for now. Ha ha!